Yo, legends, time to roll. We're gonna try to hook up with the WCC today, so. It's a nice, cool morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning, so we got plenty of time. Those guys leave at 7:30. I think the noise you were hearing was from the other wheel. I believe the shifting was off. That's what was making noise. We're talking about Paul's maintenance Monday that we did on his bike. It's cool this morning. It's cooler than normal this morning. 75 Fahrenheit, which is about 24 or 25 Celsius. And it's supposed to only get to 90 Fahrenheit for a high, which is like 28, 29 Celsius. So it's a nice mild day. We're supposed to get a lot of rain next week. It's going to be in the 80s. So this is nicer than it's been in a long time. This is unusual for July. So the weather patterns are definitely going to change. The puck has become like my go-to helmet. Yeah, we usually don't get fronts in July, and we got one over the weekend. It's gonna bring a lot of rain this week. I had not turned on my head unit at this point, so there's no stats displayed. On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We rode into the woodlands. We got there a little early, so we did like a little warm-up loop there. And then we went to the Ashland YMCA, left with the group. The ride just started out fast, and it just got faster. By the time we hit Fishcreek Boulevard, look at the speed, 56 kilometers an hour. It was brutal. We filmed all the way up to 105, and then we went ahead and left the group, and we went directly to the lake. We stopped over there, took some pictures. I think you all would like it. It's a nice B-roll. We took 1097 back towards Montgomery. Once we got into Montgomery, we took Ribbon Chapel back, and then we started to film on the way back into Honea, took Honea Egypt Road all the way down into the woodlands. I hope you all will enjoy the clips because it was a very interesting ride. It was very, very fast. And so for week 2, it felt like we got our work cut out for us.
I took links off my tape, right? And I kept the links. And I'm gonna have to add like 5 links.
And then once we do that, we cross. Once we go before Taco Corner, we take a right.
That's Maurizio Topo
Before Taco
Topini.
Corner, we take a right. We go up Mount Pleasant.
He's discussing the
And
route.
then we come down to Mount Pleasant. Yeah.
Mount Pleasant counter to 149, and then back down Bethel, or
When it's hot, we
No,
put on
Just, once we cross from Lake
something,
Conroe,
some head covering
after 2 or 3
to keep the
miles, we
sweat
take a
out of
right.
our eyes.
Before
Mo's
Taco
wearing
Corner, right?
something
3 miles, we
kind of
take a
navy or
right,
black.
go up Mount Pleasant.
It's under the
Hit
helmet.
149, we take a left. There's construction on
I'm wearing white, and I think Paul has red. It makes a
It's only
big
like a
difference,
mile,
and you need to use breathable
Yeah,
material.
it's been like that. It's been like that. We take the lane.
It's not bad, and plus, the right side, the finished part of it, so you can use the new pavement, and it's blocked off, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, we just say single file, we try to keep it together. That way, that's actually a good way to not go crazy because a lot of people will move out. We'll have a lot of stop and waits, kind of.
Those stopping weights are painful because if you're
Or a
hurting,
bungee cord to put a harp
you gotta catch back up. But we're going on the same route that we did,
Let's go ride.
where we got the 15% climb.
We got a nice
They're not
cool
gonna do
morning.
the
Let's
climb.
enjoy
So there, we basically take Fishcreek. We stay on Fishcreek all the way to 105. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna take Fishcreek
All right.
to 105, then go east on 105, like when we did those 2 rides where we did the 15% climb. We'll bypass the climb.
Let's go, Andale.
We filmed up to the area where the climbs are, we kind of turned off the camera around there. But got lots of good footage. This ride was fast. I teased Mo on Sunday. I saw them on the way back from my ride. Rode with them a little bit.
I've got a channel. I put these.
Guys asking me about the camera and the gimbal.
So
it's
we're
hard
working
not
on
to
our
notice
Speedwork
it.
coming with these crazy guys. So that's our theme.
Hey, I resemble that comment.
Yeah, he's one of the crazy guys.
Yeah, crazy guys. So we ride, but it's like a different kind of riding.
You're not hammering it.
Yeah, we're not hammering it. We do long, we do century. So we've got solid base now. We're gonna ramp. So we started last week. We let them go at the overpass. So this week we'll go further. And so that's the theme.
I like the long one more than the short one. But fast.
Those guys hanging back there for. Let's go.
As we go across this intersection, there's a gap between us. That's Jerry coming
Jerry?
on that street. That's Jerry Ilunga. We're gonna feature him. We're gonna show him in a bit. I didn't get this gentleman's name in the white jersey that I was chatting with. He was interested in the camera. Let's explain that. If you look at my cadence, it's very high. I mean, like a 39-21, something ridiculous. I thought they were going to take it easy getting out. And so in a little bit I shift up. And you will see me motion to Paul to get in the draft because he's filming and you'll see him getting shots from behind. That's Al over there acting like a bird. He's always messing around. And that's why I point to him so Paul can get him. His name is Alice Deer. He spells it with a D. He has a Scottish accent. So when he talks, sometimes I miss some of the words, but it's pretty easy. It's not too hard to understand. It's just that sometimes he'll give instructions. Not on this ride. On Sunday he did that. We're doing a rotating pace line. And he was giving instructions and it was windy. We couldn't really make it out. He was telling one guy, you know, you've already gotten by. You need to swing over. Because we're going fast and we're just rotating. Right here, a car is coming. I guess Mo didn't see it, so I called him. And then Mo did a U-turn right there. And then Alice there said, hey Mo, what are you doing? Mo seemed to be in an awful hurry today. I told him on Sunday, I said he should have been arrested for speeding. I mean, he told me, he said that he had ridden an hour before he came to this ride, just spinning, and overall they managed to average 21 point something miles per hour for 97 miles or something like that. So they really poured it on a Saturday. Because Jerry said after we let them go, they went even faster. So it was a hard ride. But we left them and then went to the lake. You'll see the footage from there. So we're doing 30 kilometers an hour. And if you drove to the ride, this is a task here because you know you're really warming up quickly. It says 32. We're going to be doing 35, 36 in about a kilometer or so. It just got fast, and you will hear me at a stop mention to Paul. I just feel fast. Is it just me? Something like that, you know. And I'll even tell him, I say, Mo seems to be late for something. And he's sitting up there spinning and talking to that guy who's chatting with me. And you will see that at some point this double pace line will begin to disintegrate. Because as the pace quickens, the people on the right don't want to maintain that line. So Mo checks over there, he checked to the left, it's a four-way stop sign. And once it's clear, we just roll. Paul and I chatted. I don't remember what we're talking about. Yeah, you see right here, it's 36 kilometers an hour. Al's trying to turn on his light. Sometimes during the weekends I don't get the requisite amount of hours of sleep because I'm always fiddling with something the night before. You know, either maybe on the computer or one of the bikes. There's always something going on. So my mind is just active, and even if I lie down, I don't fall asleep right away. So my body didn't feel at its best on this ride, but I felt pretty decent. You know, it was a good workout. Both Paul and I are wearing different ASO shorts. I got the Cento. I don't remember which one he got. But the ASO shorts did their job. I did the review, and I don't, you know, my reviews are not to upset people or annoy people. I just kind of give my impression, but some people come to the channel and they act like because they own ASOs, I'm supposed to say it's number one. Well, there's no such thing. Some people have personal preferences or whatever. I'm just glad that we have these choices. And, you know, I don't want to wear all Rafa or all Castelli or whatever. I want to test the varieties. These shorts perform great. I wasn't even thinking about them. And that's a sign of a good pair of shorts. Look at the speeds here. About 23 miles an hour. We're coming through here. And we just started riding. 8 minutes into the ride. This guy's chatting with Paul. He's got the Lecole. And that's another thing about that I like about ASO. You see how Lecole, his Lecole short, Lecole all around the legging, the band? I like that ASO does not do that. I don't need the whole world to know I'm wearing ASO. That's my pet peeve with Rafa. So when I get their shorts, I get them black and black so the letters don't scream at people. I don't want all that advertising. I love that about the ASOs, that little button. So if you're in the know, you just see the button and you know it's ASOs. So I don't like that. I've never liked the styling of the Lecole. Primarily those letters around the legging there. They're just a bit too much advertising. And some of my Rafa shorts, the older ones, I've actually used black marker marking the white lettering to where they don't stand out. I did that on the pink ones, but they rub off because they're almost like a latex kind of, you know, rubbery surface, so they don't hold. But I just wanted to mention I really like that about the ASOs. They're understated. I've requested some additional ASOs to review, so we're not just going to be doing Rafa. We're going to be doing different things. That's the way to go. I think that we are fortunate to have these choices, and it's good to have different things in your steed so you can style differently. That's Fabian. That's one of the hammerheads. Paul's being funny. We just saw him last week. He said, I haven't seen you in a while. He was being sarcastic. Fabian goes after a lot of the Strava KOMs in the region, in our area. So he and Jerry Leutner, they're like 1 and 2 on different, just many of the segments. Jerry was telling me on Sunday that he used to have a lot more KOMs, and then Fabian started taking them down. So they probably go back and forth. Because I was coming back with them on Sunday on Honea Egypt Road. We climbed and everything. We climbed the bump, the road flat, and they were supposed to be tired. And Jerry just started going so hard. I just didn't really feel like I wanted to go that hard at this point anyway. So I backed off a bit. You know, ended up catching up with them later because I think they stopped in the parking lot and dropped off Al. They said there were only 8 people on Sunday, so this is a bigger turnout than the Sundays ride. I woke up late on Sunday, so I rode out by myself. And on the return, they caught up to me while I was coming through Great Lake Estates. So it was fun to see them again. And we rode Honea Egypt together. And I told them we will be back for more. The light changes here real quickly.
I think more
Mo didn't even. Yeah, I just told Paul. I said I think Mo's late for something.
Yeah, I will.
I mean, I told Paul to also keep it tight because we're moving so fast. You don't want to drift back. At this point, Paul is mainly thinking about the shots and all of that. But with these guys, man, I try to save every ounce of energy because we're gonna need it on Fishcreek. They ride Fishcreek like it's completely flat, and that thing is a drag. Falls flat the entire way. That's a sauna in front of that guy in the blue on the right there. And she's one of the hammerheads in the group too. So once we get ourselves conditioned, we'll be able to really mix and have fun with these guys. I mean, look at the speeds. We're just started, 12 minutes into the ride. I kept glancing at my cadences and knowing what gears I was in. I was like, man, if this continues, it's gonna be a long day. That's what I was thinking. You will hear me chat with Paul when we stop at a red light in about probably 3 kilometers, about a mile and a half. These boys. But that's what it takes to get fast. You gotta work harder, work smart. But you have to push your body under control. You gotta have a plan so you don't fry yourself and end up getting into overtraining. Because too much over your head can lead to overtraining. That's why we're taking this systematic approach, just to show as an example. Because we're not just riding with these guys. We do a lot of work during the week to prepare for the next Saturday, so that every week we are improving. So this is not the only speed workout we're doing. That's important to note. You can't just do a race per se and then take the whole week off and go race the next weekend. It's too hard on the body. You must maintain. We're approaching Egypt Lane. We're on Research Forest here. This is the quickest way out of town. You're looking for roads with high exercise potential. Yeah, they added new dirt on that corner. There was a hole there. And the cars, they want to turn when somebody's sitting at the light, so they end up riding in the dirt. They're digging a new hole there. so the gravel's a little over the pavement. You notice I'm tied up on Al. I am trying to not waste any energy, because after seeing the way Mo is warming up, I know when we hit Fishcreek, it's going to be fast. Because once you get on Fishcreek, you don't have to deal with stop signs and all that stuff. That's where the riding really starts. This is the guy who's sporting the LeCole. And I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with LeCole. Fabian wears LeCole. He likes their stuff. I'm just saying, my style, I don't like all that stuff on the band. I like the Eurosport on his shorts. It was neat. I used to have a subscription to Eurosport. Didn't use it much. I'm telling Paul to keep it tight so he doesn't waste energy. Because our goal is to get over that overpass this week. That's a sign of progress. We're not using Honea Egypt Road because of the scraping they've done in the corners. We don't want to take a large group there. a bit uncomfortable. But coming back on Sunday, it was only like 5 of us by the time they caught up to me. So we rode Honea Egypt on the way back. And Paul and I come back on Honea Egypt later on this ride. That's Doug's shot on the right. Look at his socks. He's got 2 different socks. He's got polka dot and he's got lines. He does that a lot. He styles like the Italians. The Italians will even wear 2 different color shoes. So later on, when we start riding fast, I will switch. I will try to copy the Italians, where I will wear like my black and white here, and maybe with just the white on one foot and the black and white on another. You see his socks? That's cool. Anything you want to do is cool in this sport because you have to find your own personality. This is the second time I've seen Doug wear 2 different socks. I think Paul Ilunga pointed it out to me a few months back when we were riding on 1488. The day when I rode with Team RR. So he likes to do that. So you find what you like to do and just do it. Create a personality so people get to know who you are, what your style is. I thought that guy would get on Doug's wheel. He seemed to be catching a lot of wind over there, so that's why I looked at him. He didn't make the move. I just kind of moved up. The ride felt fast. Everything you've seen here felt fast because we don't usually warm up this fast with these guys, even with these guys. And everybody kind of acknowledged it. You know, I mentioned it to Mo, and he was just like, he didn't really have an explanation. I think that he probably was well rested and felt good, and we got a good turnout. So he made a challenge for everybody. No fuss, no muss. And I told him, I said, yeah, you should have gotten a speeding ticket. He just smiled. Mo doesn't take compliments. He doesn't make a big deal out of it. I don't think he likes being complimented. Let's put it that way. He just when you compliment Mo, he changes the topic. So when I said he should have gotten a speeding ticket, he went off to start talking about how he had warmed up for an hour, and he was explaining that he was very warmed up. He got there like right at 7:30, so he was very warmed up, and I think he was explaining in his way he was ready to ride because of the good warm up. And then he said that with the warm up and the group ride and everything, more than 90 miles, his average was 21.5 or something like that, which is just fast. Considering, we haven't stopped, coast, and do all of that. It's not a time trial. That's fast. That's why we're here. Speedwork week 2. It felt like week 0 to me, meaning that the speeds were no easier. Even though this is the second week. As Le Mans says, it never gets easy, you just go faster. Greg Le Mans. We approach Fishcreek, aka Sandera, Honea, Egypt. We turn right and watch. They're up the road, and I'm aware. I'm watching. See Al go? He's in a race gear. I shift up. That's why I love those thumb shifters. I'm looking at Paul so he can know. You got to do something to get in there. I'm in like a 16 or 15. What? We're over 26, 27 miles an hour. I'm carrying so much speed, I go to the left because I am not going to hit the brakes. If I'm going to work to get this much speed, I'm going to enjoy the coasting. I earned it. Because if I had hit the brakes, I'd have to accelerate back up to get in the line. So that's an old trick there. Both Paul and I did that. We stayed on the left side. That way we can just kind of ease into the line here. You don't want to be braking because just like in your car, every time you brake, it takes energy to get back up to speed, as opposed to if you coast, then you're already at speed and you can just continue cruising, which uses less energy. And in a group, in a group like this, the riding is not efficient anyway, so don't add to it. But I went so fast, I didn't expect them to slow down. I thought they were gonna just take off. So whatever was going on at the front, I was trying to adapt. I'm wiping the condensation from my bottle on my shorts there because I put ice in one bottle in the morning and then put my electrolyte in there so that within an hour and a half it would still be cool. But the bottle, sweats, and so when you pick it up, it's a little clammy on your fingers. I don't want any moisture on my hands. This road is going up just a tad here, and they're forcing the pace. And once again, that's what you have to do. You drift to the left, catch the wind. And so, I'm using the wind to slow down. I'm shaking my legs there, kind of wake them up. Because I am riding gears that I normally don't ride in. And so, it feels like over the last couple of weeks, like I've gone to the gym to do a workout. So even though my cadence is high, I'm really working my legs at a higher effort than they're used to. So I want to make sure they stay loose. We're just rolling along at 42. This is a flat part of the road. This is not downhill. I move over to the right there because we're going to be going downhill anyway. And I want to see around these guys. There's another gentleman named Hugo. That's Hugo on the left from Colombia. He tries to take my wheel. When I said my wheel, meaning that's my wheel. God's wheel is mine. I don't want to give it up. And so he gets behind me. I'm not sure where he was headed, but he ended up catching a lot of wind. My little wiggle there, I was avoiding the little bitty rocks. I just used my hips to roll around them and not over them. I stay on the right because I have more visibility. I can see what's going on. This is a long line. There's a lot of debris. There's like an old tire that's been sitting there for more than a month. There it is. So I'm pointing that out. That area is clean. See me wiggle? I'm wiggling around the debris. I'm watching the road. But that allowed me to see clearly what was going on with the group. I did not want to be wondering, should I pedal here or should I coast? I wanted to see what was happening. In a little bit, I will drift to the left and take the lane because this shoulder is going to end. And I take the lane early. Another reason so I can see what's happening up there. But I check before I get out in the main lane. I always double, triple check. So even though I had looked before I got there, once I got there, I looked again. The cars can come off. They're going about twice our speed. He's pointing to my wheel, letting Paul know he's going to get on my wheel. But Paul's already aware of that. Paul allowed him to get in here because we talked about it. Now, this light changed too quickly. The group is already through. So when people were gapped back there, not because of the light, they just weren't on. You hear Paul say they need to slow down. There's Doug's socks. Look at that. That's cool. I like that.
Slow down.
I end up waving, more look behind because he's aware. I end up waving and letting him know to slow down. In a little bit, we'll start coasting. There's a few people, maybe a couple. Jerry was trying to go. I told Jerry he's aware. Jerry's riding up to the left. Oh no, some people didn't make that light. If you're tight in a group, you go like a train. Normally we would stop, but it was so late when the light changed. Mo didn't want to cause a crash by locking up the brakes at the last minute, so we just went through as a train. So it's better to do what we did than to lock up at the last minute and people are behind you. It's hard to stop a bicycle suddenly like that. And you will have a pile.
Okay. Don't wait till
We're talking about when I'm trying to get the camera from Paul before we get to the overpass. And he said, let's go over a couple of bumps. I'll give it to you. The funny thing is, there is never a good time to be holding this camera when we're going this hard.
Okay.
I'm telling him I'm just going to grab Jerry's jersey to pull me up the overpass. So in a little while, Jerry would chat with Paul and tell him that when things get difficult, just hang in there. And then he will also tell him that Mo likes to go really fast after the overpass when we go straight like we're going today. So he's letting him to just be aware. You will hear him tell him that. We just kind of shoot the breeze here. We're waiting for people to get back. And say everybody's here. So everybody's here. This Fabian, he was one of the ones back there messing around, I guess. He's going to the front to take a pull. Jerry is saying that we usually don't do that, and I told him, I said, no, I understand. Jerry said, yeah, he just didn't want to cause a crash. Yeah, so if you're going through and the light changes at the last minute and you got a bunch of people on your wheels, don't lock up. Just go ahead and go through the light like we did. Because we took the yellow. And as a train, if you guys are connected, the people who missed the lights had gaps to the back. Jerry's calling Paul so he can chat with us. He asked Paul, he said, you going to do this ride with us? It's Jerry Lutner, guys. These guys are not getting any older. They're getting younger every time we ride with them.
I'm going to hang on as far as I can, and then I'll let you guys go. I don't think I can maintain this pace.
No, you can. You just got to think about it.
He's telling Paul that it's more mental than physical. Yeah, sometimes it is, but when the tank's empty, the tank's empty.
If you don't think you can do it, you see, you need 15 more seconds. Hang on, because don't slow down.
He and I have had that conversation before where he said 15 more seconds when you don't think you can hang on. He had told me 10 seconds. I gotta know what he means, and I will make a little joke about it when we stop over here. But what he's saying is sometimes your mind will quit before the body is ready, and so sometimes you have to push yourself within reason. You know, you don't want to be bending squares or anything. If the tank's empty, it's empty. But what he's saying is you gotta hang on sometimes. And Paul hung on for as long as he could.
He told me that story. He told me 10 seconds. When he told you, he said 50. So I don't know.
he tells me that it's 15 seconds now because we got a lot of younger guys in here, and so it's been updated for 2020, something like that. And you see, I'm in a race gear, kind of like a 16, so I just stand and get it going. Because these guys get up to speed quickly. We're going to be in the 20s, let's see, at 31, we're doing 20 miles an hour, and we just got to the intersection. I didn't want to sit and labor in the gear, so I stood up and got it going. So what he was telling Paul is that when you think you can't hang on, give yourself 15 more seconds in 15-second blocks, and maybe before you know it, you'll be there. Paul's already getting tired. I had told him to give me the camera, and when he gives me the camera here, I'm not really ready for the camera. There is no good time to get the camera, as I said earlier, when you're going hard like this, because now I got to get acclimated to holding it in my hand at the same time as I'm hammering, because he gave it to me right before an overpass. He probably should have given it to me on the flat here. And I'm saying this for him as a hint. Hey, you're going to give me the camera, give it to me on a flat or downhill so I can get it situated before I have to start riding. So when he gave it to me, you will see a gap open on his wheel while I'm messing with the camera, trying to get it situated in my left hand. I keep it in my left hand so I can shift with my right hand. There's Mo. He's coming off the front, going to the back. He's trying to make sure to keep an eye on everybody. I didn't realize that at the time until you will see what happens in a few kilometers. So this is the second bump that Paul Ilunga was talking about. He said, after we go over a couple of bumps, you know, I will give you the camera. But next time I'm going to tell you, don't give it to me on a bump. Give it to me on a downhill or a flat road. So I can get it cradled and everything before we come to a climb. He ends up giving it to me up there where we headed. I think Ridge Lake Shores is the next intersection. Yeah, because I see that office building that's unfinished on the left there. Right here, he says you can have it. So now we're starting to go up and he's giving me a camera. So I take the camera. You see, I wanted it in my left hand. And I took it with my right because he was on my right. I think he already kind of knew because this place is hard. I mean, we're going hard off these little rises. They're like, you know, it's probably, it says 1%, 2%. We get a bunch of these on Fishcreek. It's just the repeats. And I can tell he's getting a little winded. Let's put it that way. I ride with Paul enough to know. So I ride up to him. I'm trying to get the camera situated. I think I have it in my left hand now. And then the road is going to go up. See up there to the left where it curves? It goes up. And you see the gap that he's leaving to this guy? That tells me he's getting a little maxed out here. He needs a break. So I come over to put my hand on him. And Mo says, no, let me do it. Right there. And Mo takes him up. Now, Mo went so fast, I was like, hey, I could have used a hand on my back. I think I let this guy in here. Because he keeps looking at me. I think he thought I was getting dropped, so he was trying to give me a wheel. I thanked him for it later. Not that I really needed it, but I kind of knew his intention. And I thought that was classy. I mean, I'm fine. I'm not, you know, I'm not near getting dropped at this point. So I let Asana get in here also, right there. I didn't have to say anything to her. The gap was there. She just took it. That's how you ride. The gap is there. You take it. Because the person does not want to lose that wheel. They'll be on the wheel. That way you don't have to waste energy. Now she's in the draft. I'm in the draft. I drift to the left to get a shot. Look at that line. That's a great turnout. And there's not much to talk about here other than just the effort because these boys are smooth. Mo's getting a drink. This is the light on Mo's bike that made me buy the Cycle Light 200 and do that review a while ago. He's got the Cycle Light 150. Look at that. That's the lightning mode. It's a very effective tail light. He has the older model that you have to mount on the seat post. It doesn't have a strap. And I'm sure it can be retrofitted if he wanted to. Look how that thing dances. The light. Look at our speeds. 55 kilometers. We're riding more than 30 miles an hour. These are car speeds. No wonder Paul's struggling. 56 kilometers an hour. I mean, this is just brutal. And then we got that overpass coming. I don't know who was at the front. It looks like Fabian. Yeah, that's Fabian pouring it on. He just pulled off the front there. This stuff went on all day. By the time we got to Conroe, man, I told Paul, let's go to the lake. Forget these guys. They're nuts. The next time I ride with him, I'll get that guy's name on the right. I like his frame. He's got a purple frame. The geometry looks cool. We passed the rider on the right. We just have not trained like this. These intervals, that's what it is. Well, you call it repeats. And so we got the solid base, so it's not gonna take long. See how the guy in the Mercedes passed? Nice. There's no problem with that. I don't know why most drivers don't do that. No reason to be acting like the way they do sometimes. Annoying. We have to use the road here because of all the debris and the barrels. And we got a lot of people. I'm just sitting on the Sonos wheel here. And for some reason, it didn't go up this climb as fast as I expected. I mean, maybe it's just me. Because usually they'll be doing like 35, 37 kilometers an hour. Right now, you know, we're just close to like 23, 24. And right now we're doing like 18. So I don't know. Maybe they were tired, whoever's at the front. And one thing about these guys, they don't only pour it on the uphill. They pour it on when you go down. I'm going to leave a gap here for Fabian. See, Fabian has Le Col also. He loves that kit. I like the kit he's wearing. I would just blank out the letters on the leg if I owned it. I love the way they mix the different fabrics. I don't mind the name on the back, but it's a bit overkill on the legs there around the band. And that's the same pet peeve I have with my Rafa shorts. So all the older ones I try to use a permanent marker. Not the white ones. The newer ones I got black and black. The letters are black, so you really can't see them. This is the guy who was giving me the wheel back there. You would hear him ask me, "You sure you want to hold that like that? Why didn't you put? You can put it in your pocket." He didn't realize I was filming. You would hear him. He meant well.
You good hold that?
Right there.
You can stick it in your pocket.
No, I'm filming.
So I told him, I said, I'm good, I'm filming. I mean, you know, he saw me sitting at the back. There was some gaps. And so he thought, oh, you're working kind of hard. Maybe if you put that in your pocket. He's right. It's not easy filming with that camera, with the gimbal in our hand. I choose to do it because of the flexibility. I would hate to put the thing on the front of my bike because then it bounces around. So you have more vibration and you don't have the versatility of getting the shots we can get. In a little bit, I will ride up to him because I knew his intent was genuine. And I will ride up to him and you will hear me explain to him. But this was not the time. We're going hard here. This road, it says 0%, but it's not flat right here. I think I'll wait for the downhill to chat. That's the way you got to do it. Because he's going to come around me in a little while. That's one of the hammerheads on the left. Look at our speeds here. I want you to pay attention to that. This is a slight downhill. We're already doing 31 miles an hour thereabouts. 31, 32. So about 30. 48 is like 30. And I'm to the left just to get the line so you guys can get this shot. I couldn't do that if it was mounted to the bike. Yeah, I would be able to ride more aggressively and save some energy, but you know. So this is where he comes around me. He's experienced enough. There was a bit of a gap. Then he looks back to make sure I'm okay, but I'm right there. So in a little bit, I'm going to go to the right, and then I will explain to him what I'm doing. Because he's probably wondering, you know. But we talked about it after Mo has a flat off camera, and we end up stopping. And so I explained to him what was going on. And he got the name of the channel because he wants to check it out. So this channel is not just for newbies. This channel is for every cyclist. Every cyclist is curious to see, okay, what may be that I may have missed. So somewhere around here, I think, yeah, we're going downhill here. That's that old school stuff. You got to use your head. I roll up to him. I start talking, but he's got earplugs in. I think he's listening to music in one ear. So he takes it off.
It requires more work to hold it, but it's a sacrifice.
So he laughed. I told him it requires more work to hold it. I said, I'm filming for my channel, but it's a sacrifice.
Yeah, it's on my bike frame right here.
So he asked for the name of the channel. He wanted me to give it to him because cyclists always want information. That's why I call you all legends. Legends are people who seek information on cycling by going and seeking the channel and other sources of information. So that's why I call you all legends. Legends of cycling. You're educating yourself so that you can pass it on to other people and be in the know. We're not that far off the pace here. We're just sitting back here. Look at Mo. I put the arrow there to show you. We're doing about 27, 28 miles an hour. And then he pulls up to the left to ride to the front. He probably wants to talk to whoever's at the front. So you got to be really fit to do that. I just wanted to point out. Look at him sitting out there. And we're moving. This guy has a good fit. And chances are he is a racer. Because I can tell just by his fit. Racers don't play around. If you're going to be riding hard, you need to be comfortable. You need to be able to drive the pedals. I like the frame he has for several reasons. The angles look good and it's understated. There's no logos or anything on the frame. That is really cool. I like that. And the color, of course, nice. Those are their discs. The disc brakes are making noises. That's one of the things with discs. They get any kind of dirt on them, they make a lot of noise. Or, you know, humidity on the rotors. Now you just have to clean them, you know. Get some alcohol or something. Clean the disc itself. So right here, this guy's eating. I was like, oh, good idea, because I had just pulled. We have the same thing. He's using SIS, and I had just pulled mine out. So you hear me tell him, good idea. He just laughed because I have mine out. This is an opportunity to load up the tank. So we're taking a break at a leisurely 25 miles per hour. And so because Paul stayed in the middle of the group, it kind of helped cocoon him somewhat. But in a few kilometers, he told Mo, he said, my tank is empty. And he and I plan to do at least 85 to 90 miles. So that's what he was thinking about too. So we had already discussed, when the tank is empty, don't go too far into the red. Because then it's just harder to recover from it. This guy brought like a washcloth and he wiped his face because it gets humid. I just wear my El Pirata bandana, which is made out of Cool Max. It keeps the sweat out of my face because the sweat really comes off your brow. They're hammering. Every time the road goes up, these guys don't back off. They want to keep the same speed. These little slopes per se. It says 1%. You feel it more than anything. By riding this kind of terrain, if you do a ride or a race that's flat like a criterium, you just have so much of an abundance of power. Because if the road is completely flat and you're not dealing with 2-3%, you can carry so much more speed. That's why we come out on the north side, coupled with the fact that you can ride for miles before you have to stop. It's less congested out here. It's suburbia, so to speak, slash agricultural, rural roads and so forth. So you have low density of people, which leads to less traffic, gives you a better workout. That's Hugo that just got in the pace line. He was on the right there, and he just got back in the pace line. He's spinning a small gear at a high cadence. I'm staying close to 90 right now. It's like you're taking a break. If I were to get to the front of the pool, then I would increase my cadence. I suspect that the gentleman on the left had that bike either custom painted after he got it or had it made like that, because usually they don't want to leave off any kind of logos, and there's nothing on his frame. I think it's a clean look. He's got a lot of stuff in his pocket.
This is what we do besides riding a bike. We find interesting places. These guys are backing out and going in the water.
It's too close.
This is the
Lake
end of
Conroe.
Highway 830.
Yeah, he's gonna
dead
adjust
end
it. He needs to come up and straighten
into
it up.
the lake.
He's too close to that side.
He's gonna damage the thing.
No, it's not touching. It's not touching.
The boat is a little to the left because you have two walkways, and he's closer to the other one. I think it's on purpose for his buddy to get to
I'm
it.
sure these guys have figured it out. Look at this guy. This is beautiful, man. Huh? Yeah, man. Film me. I'm gonna go walk down by the water there.
Okay.
It's live. Film me. This guy's scared of the water.
Paul says not part of the plan.
Come on, where you going?
That wasn't the plan. I just saw you.
You plan and then life happens.
You see where I put the gimbal when we're not filming?
Come over there.
That's an extra pound we carry.
That's cool. Look over there.
Look at all those houses. So if you're gonna own a boat, I think it's cool if you have a house by the water. So you don't have to be hauling that thing
One
around.
little dock. If you had a house like that.
That's the guy, his little trailer. I joked about it. I said he needs to get some T9 on it or something, some lube. Get some bike lube on it.
All right, that's enough social distance.
Yeah, they got a sign over there, right there. Practice social distancing after you unload your boat.
Be careful on this gravel.
This is the first time we've come down here, so it was nice. This is Highway 830.
You getting those houses?
I'm getting all the way there, man. So
In a little while, we'll film birds. You see them drafting each other. I'm like, who taught those guys to draft? There, I think I tell them in a little bit.
Yeah.
Get those birds. We just kept seeing the birds. Yeah, this slope is at least a 3%er.
It's at least a 3% to 4% climb.
As our cyclist thinks. Look at the reflectors on the ASOs. That's what I'm talking about. They're very effective. You see the button? It lights up.
You came out early this morning. You gotta come early to get a good spot.
wow.
Look at that view over there. Get those birds. Look at the birds up there. Look at the sky.
I want you to get the bird. They're drafting. Look at them drafting. Who taught them how to draft? You know how the birds fly in a V formation when they're really heading out. They just figured it out.
This is beautiful, man.
Yeah. This is an adventure. You don't need a car. Just get on your bike and get out there. Well, legends, we're frying our legs today. So, after stopping at the lake, getting a drink, we're wrapping up this ride on Raven Chapel South.
We just got you eating some granola bar. That's what I was trying to lick down. We just had a bit of a snack. We eat throughout the ride. This is 3 hours and 28 minutes since we started with those guys. So for us, it's 4 hours and 28 minutes because we rode for an hour to get to them. In a little bit, one of our village idiots comes out here and tries to pass in a double yellow, low visibility. You see the curve up there? We hear him coming. We know there's car back, but I just didn't expect him to make a pass here. And you will see an oncoming vehicle, so he starts running out of room, and then he blares his horn at us. So I just throw up my hand in frustration, right there. It's like, that's not necessary. That's the stupid stuff they do and create problems. So he put us at risk, and he put that other driver at risk. Going where? What's the emergency? Just don't let it ruin your ride. You just keep riding. You know, it's like, you know, really? It's the stupid stuff they do. It's not necessary. There's nothing wrong with this road. You just need to wait till you can see if you're going to go around somebody. a little while, I'm going to show Paul why I don't like to put saddlebags on my saddle with straps on it, because my leg literally brushes up against the seat post. So the seat post itself will not harm your shorts, but if you have any Velcro straps on there, it will chew into that lycra. What he's saying is he flips the camera when cars are coming so they can behave themselves, because they think they're going to be on social media, which they are. They're going to be on YouTube. So he's saying they behave themselves when he does that. I don't worry too much about it. I do what I need to do. I, ride as safely as I can. And these guys take chances even when you're in your car. I mean, out of the car he was coming to, I'm sure the driver freaked out. So, and then sometimes they'll do that, and they'll cut over too early in front of you, the cyclists, and our vehicles are more vulnerable. It's just not necessary. There's no reason. Well, you wait for 1 or 2 seconds. You're not gaining any time out here. You stop at a light, it's at least 30 seconds. You're not going to gain those 30 seconds driving around these streets. It's not going to happen. We're going to be turning left, so I take the lane. And I'm going to look. That guy looks and it's clear after this car. So I look, it's clear, I check, and then I let Paul know. These roads are not busy, but the speeds are higher, so you have to look in the distance. Don't assume. Always assume somebody's there. That's your default.
Yeah.
I stand here and you'll see me take off the lane because there's a runner coming in the opposite direction. And I don't like to pass people closely. I give them plenty of room, especially if I'm coming the other way behind them where their back is to me. I don't want to startle anybody. That's the way you want to pass. You don't want to pass right up on a pedestrian, or even when you're on the trails, you got to at least have a bell or alert people or something. When I'm on the trails, I just park and just let them know I'm going to be passing you on this side. Because people on the trails are not moving very swiftly, and so they're not really organized per se. They're all over the trail you're on, or the bike path you're on. I don't like to use too many bike paths. We only use a path to get us back home. Sometimes when we go south on Flint Ridge, we're extra careful on paths. I feel more comfortable on the road than on the bike paths around here, because we don't have a lot of high speed. We don't have any high speed bike paths like in some other countries. Our bike paths are hike and bike. So that means pedestrians, baby strollers, anything, it's all there. So no, I'm gonna try to ride the road. Less to keep up with. We had already discussed going back Honea Egypt Road because we had filmed Fishcreek in a recent video, I believe last week, on the way back. So we're going to take a faster way back, meaning it could either be Fishcreek or Honea Egypt. We decided to just go with Honea Egypt. Whenever there's a boat, we always default on Honea Egypt, even with all the mess they've done in those curves with the grading of the road, I call it. We still like this road. Paul gives me the camera. I go ahead and film the transition here. And he takes the lead. think in a little while you will see a gap open the pawl. Kind of right up front. Checking the camera to make sure there are no issues like we had last week, or I don't expect the same thing, but I always try to verify: is it filming correctly, accurately? Did we miss anything? So right around here, that's what I'm looking at. He will ride off a little bit because I'm pedaling, but I'm in a small gear. And look at my cadence going back to 0. I'm probably coasting. Yeah, I'm coasting. I'm looking at the camera, and then I realize, oh, let's go. We're good. The road is slightly downhill. It's got -0, it had -1. So we're not working very hard right now, but as soon as we get around that curve, it's gonna dip down, get over a bridge, and then spike up. And then we'll start working. So this is what I was talking about. So once I put it away, I go ahead and ride up. I'm gonna give him the camera when we get past the bridge that's coming up. This is a low water crossing area. When it rains a lot, it floods over here. They usually close this bridge. So you see the road has a lot of patina. The water kind of washes it. Take the lead, and in a short while you'll see here I'm going to ride on the edge. I don't want to deal with that grading that they've done, and I just make sure I avoid the reflectors. You can see the reflectors. I'm riding around them. I'm using my hips and watching where I'm going. So where your eyes look, it's easy for you to track. You have to look where you want your wheels to be. I think this is like, yeah, it says 2%. That's what I was going to say. It's about a 2% climb. And it's long, all the way up there. It gets in front of a subdivision called Crown Oaks. See, I just keep a rhythm. My heart rate's gonna go up. It's like 152. It was like 120 something when we started, and it's gone up 30 beats. I don't worry about that. I just ride, keep a rhythm. Back on this one's not as bad, and there's not really an edge to ride on. It scraped the entire thing. So, when it's clear, some riders ride in the middle, but that one's smooth enough. So right about here, we really start to ride. Slight downhill, -1, -2, so we're moving about 26, 27 miles an hour. Look at that road. It's beautiful. They need to hurry up and fix it because it's discouraging the larger groups from coming out here. Honea Egypt Road. Lots of patina. Look at the cracks on the left. I stayed to the right because Paul is on my left. The wind is blowing from the right and in our face. So he's drafting in a bit of an echelon. The road goes up here a bit. Not more than 1.5%. I'll go ahead and ride the edge here again. So I use my hips to stay on there and dodge the reflectors at the same time. I have to deal with that surface feels like a washboard. Yeah, the phone always slides a little because of the weight of it. I put the phone in that bag since I've got my saddle bag on this here. I like the Rafa saddle bag. It does not interfere with my legs at all. So we're well into the ride here. We got a nice rhythm going and we're just rolling along. It's not much of an edge here, but I find it anyway. It's me leaning. I'm using my hips. Now I understand why those boys in Paris would be ride the dirt. It's uncomfortable bouncing around like that. And they're riding on rougher surfaces than what they've done to this road. I cannot imagine riding on cobblestones like they do. That thing shakes you up. There was a joke one of the riders told Paul, what's his name? Phil Liggett, not Paul. Phil Liggett said that. One of the riders told him that after the race was over, even in the shower, he was still shaking. Because they give them showers when the rider's over to get through the velodrome so they can clean up. And the rider said, I was still shaking. That's how much they have to deal with. I remember back in the day, they had these suspension bikes that would put rock shock on their bikes. You know, it's something they tried for a while. And it went back to regular road bikes. That's why you can't always pick up what those boys are doing. They'll try something for one time and move on. I remember Steve Bauer made this funky angle, like a real relaxed angle road bike for one of the Blvd races. And he never did it again. He never replicated it again. We didn't have any more challenges with the cars on this part of the road here. So I get in the drops because the wind's picking up just to get some free speed. You hear the wind. I ducked it down somewhat, but it was blowing. So for us, it's almost 5 hours into our ride here. Beautiful new road. Look at that pavement, just smooth, buttery smooth. Get on smooth road. I don't know if you can tell, I'm just pulling up. I really like pavement like this. Everything's just slick. It may not register, but this is a bit of a slope here. I don't want to downshift, so I go to the bars. Take a drink, put my bottle back. I always line up that bottle, the one on the seat tube, straight so that it does not interfere with my pedaling, because if it leans to the side, you can brush up against it sometimes. I'm glad it paved this section. It used to have a nice dip here that we used to have to avoid. You can see my bandana flailing around as the wind picks up. I don't try to force the gear. I just pay attention to the sensations of my legs. Right around that curve, this is where they have the worst scraping. So I really seek out that patch. It's a little trickier there because you're going through a curve. It's not very long. So whenever you know that you're coming up to a climb, don't sit at the front and fry yourself. If you must stay there, make sure it's a comfortable pace. So I'm just riding here, you know, top of zone 2. And I'm trying to decide, okay, do I stay in the big chain ring? Do I downshift? You have to start planning all that stuff. And all that's gonna vary depending on your fitness and what you did the last time you rode similar terrain. This one gets to 5% at its steepest pitch, but it continues for several kilometers after you get over the steeper section. I think I stay in the big chain ring. I just downshift to like a 53.23 or something. Right here it starts to kick. See, look at the grade. 2% is going to hit 5%. 3, 4. Gets there quickly, then it drops right there. 4, 3, for about 2, but then from here, for about another 1.5 kilometers, you're climbing. So if you went too hard on that 5% bump section, you can pay the price down here. I like this road. I come through here whenever I go north. I love this road. It's a nice challenge. You get to do a long climb. About 3 or 4 kilometers you're climbing. We're still climbing here all the way well past that curve. We're going to be climbing. It's about 1.5. Now it says 2. Yeah, it's about 1.5 or so here. So all here is a grade. It says 0, it's probably 0.7, 0.8 or whatever. You're still working. So by riding in terrain like this, you always have resistance against your pedaling. And that strengthens your legs. In a little while, I'm going to motion to Paul to take the lead. Right here, it levels off. You still have a few undulations, just little slopes, little bumps that you can feel more than see. Like where that truck is. Paul takes the lead. This is where you got a little bit of a bump. Yeah, it says 1%. You feel that more than anything. It kicks in. I usually make sure I'm in a gear I can handle. I'm in a larger gear right now, just kind of chilling, really, since Paul's breaking the wind here, punching a hole in the wind for me. I just go ahead and not focus on RPM. We're not riding hard right now. The ride's almost over. Slightly downhill. This is -2. It's kind of a wavy road. Now it goes to 1% up, and then -0. I don't know. It's just flat. It's basically flat here. At this point, after dealing with all the climbs out there, that last little bump, you pretty much have what's left to get to 2978. I run the credits here, and I've got a few minutes of clips. I want to thank our sponsor, Divine Mercy AG Church, Houston, Texas. Thank our supporters, Paul Ilunga, Joe Nanga, Reed Saif of the United States for supporting the channel. We appreciate your generosity. Consider becoming a member of the channel. There are perks, and you will be helping us with our educational channel content. So we're basically wrapping up the ride here. We're heading towards town. 2978 is about a half a kilometer down the road. I back off a bit to make sure I can see all these cracks, because I want to roll over the cleanest pavement, or the smoothest pavement, put it that way. I'm kind of in the middle of the road here. I want the cars to stay behind us. I'm doing hands-free right now.
Just take the shoulder.
I told Paul to just take the shoulder, because these guys are sitting there. Even though there's no car coming in the right lane, they were being cute. They were behaving like they usually do when there's a peace officer around. So So I hope y'all got a chance to get some K's in. If you didn't, get moving, get your body going, get on a trainer, go for a walk. You have to keep those doctors fired. This is what we did on Saturday, and this Speedwork week 2 was serious business. I felt like I was in a bike race. So I've got to get my engine comfortable at race pace for longer periods. That's going to be our mode of training. Welcome Ranjit. Ranjit just signed up for our Veloharmony fitness coaching program. We're going to get you in shape.
It's time to get out there. You got to fire your doctor. Epic ride.
Stay safe out there.